I want to get very quickly your perspective on the impact of investment banking deals on the market going into the fourth quarter. Clearly, the market rallied significantly in the third quarter, up about 20%. But to what extent do you see investment banking deal flow having an impact on this market going forward?
A big extent. We saw Dangote Flour, we saw Tiger Brands. We've seen Tiger Brands acquisitions over the last 2 years or so. We saw the acquisition with UAC. We saw the effect that had. And if you did an undervaluation analysis of the entire market, you'd notice just straight off book value, at least 40 companies are undervalued off book value. And a lot of those companies are pharmaceutical companies,
right,
in the pharma space.
So you're anticipating some deal flow in that area?
I definitely see a lot of deal flow happening in that sector. There's a lot of interest coming definitely from foreign players trying to get into our space. 160 million people, that's a large population. And that's an exciting space. There's a huge potential for revs. The smaller, non-listed, generic drug makers are currently holding such a huge market share, just selling straight off the little mom and pop pharmaceutical companies around. So picture an organized company with some strategy and some drive coming in.
And of course, I just had a discussion around the insurance space, and clearly there's a case where we can clearly see that there's several companies undervalued. But how do you play this? How do you play this as an investor? How do you position ahead of this deal flow? Do you, for instance, just buy companies and hopefully with the introduction of market making and securities lending, liquidity shouldn't be an issue, and then of course you can benefit from the upside?
I think as an investor, you also have to work with advisors. You have to come to people who will help you do proper projections of cash flows, who help you analyze these companies, look at where they're going from a strategic perspective, and then you can execute, And then you also have to have these advisors who understand management, who can see the management that's going to, the managers that are going to take these companies to the next level. Is the company actually making forward strides to go, to flip into a major conglomerate, or is it just hanging along? Is it ready to make those tough decisions? And I think that's where you don't come in and say, oh, this stock is trading at 50 kobo, I'm just going to jump in. Right. No, you must understand the strategic intent of the company.
Okay, and if you were to take a guess, your perspective, how many deals do you anticipate between now and the end of the year can we expect? You just mentioned the pharmaceutical sector. Do you think that's where we'll see most of the deals, or do you think it's going to cut across the
No, I think it's going to cut across.
Perhaps even telecoms, because we know that Starcoms as well.
Yes, definitely.
Is in talks with some
so that deal, I definitely see one deal in telecoms. FMCG, fast moving. We're going to see an array of deals, not only in the public space, listed companies, but definitely in the private space. There's a lot of private equity interest for FMCG players. A lot of, if you just go to the trade fairs alone, you'll see at least 10, 15 companies doing 2 billion naira in revs a year with no proper strategic vision, just a warehouse and a manufacturing plant, and no proper strategic guidance. So
and that's what the investors will bring.
Yeah, so
and probably drive the value of this company.
So picture the investors coming in, and 3 years from now, 5 years from now, exiting through an IPO. The sky's the limit for this market. We're excited, but definitely we're excited.
Certainly sounds exciting. Thank you so much, Akinola Jones from Primera Africa